Okie dokie, here we go. Back for another video. So, I think this video is actually going to be the Patreon preview, and it's going to be public on YouTube. So if you're here watching, thank you for coming. This is what I do for most every day. I release one of these videos almost every day of the week. I miss a few depending on my schedule, but this is going to be the Patreon preview. So this is what you get nearly every day if you join me on Patreon for $1.49 for a month, an entire month. That's nothing. You probably don't even think about that much money. So just click over to Patreon, subscribe, and you'll get this almost every day, okay? So I hope it's a good one. I don't know exactly yet, but it's 5 used SUVs you should never buy. So I did previously a video about his 5 used trucks you should never buy, which was hilarious. I think it was exceptionally funny because one of the so one of the trucks that he mentioned you can't even buy in the United States, or you can't even buy in North America, and the vast majority of his audience and my audience is in North America, so why even mention it? You can't buy it. So here I'm curious what kind of SUVs he says you shouldn't buy. Of course he's gonna say buy proxy. He's going to say what you shouldn't buy, and then he's going to say, but you should just buy a Toyota. Buy a Lexus. Let's see.
Today I'm going to talk about 5 SUVs that you should...
Let's stop right now. His garage, I don't believe it. Like, I didn't think it was possible, but his garage is getting worse. I'm going to come out with another video, probably just on Patreon, about his little oil future of auto repair thing, where he shows a better look of his garage, and it is abysmal. And you can see, you get a really good look here. It's getting worse, I think. And I don't even see the point of having a garage like that if you can't go inside of it.
Never buy used, because many of them were bad enough when they were brand new.
So yeah, last time he was bitching about the Mercedes truck, and that was the first thing he showed, and then he showed the Mercedes SUV.
Some of them are made a lot better.
Here, of course, he's got to show the Toyota. By the way, something very interesting is you see the Celica in the back. Actually, I'm not going to talk about it here, but I learned something very interesting about Scotty's car. I want to talk about it, but I don't think I'm going to talk about it just yet. But it's hilarious. It's phenomenal. Like, I couldn't believe it when I found out. Like, it changes everything about Scotty, really. And I don't think I'm ready to talk about it yet, so stay tuned.
Now, the first SUV never to buy used is the BMW X5. You might as well say BMW money pit. They've had problem with engine oil leaks, water leaking into the vehicle, big time transmission problems, and problems with their stability control systems that keep...
No. So those BMW SUVs, the gearbox is probably one of the best things about them. They're notoriously reliable. I really don't know what he's talking about there. Like, he's totally making that up. They're pretty decent SUVs. Like, I'm surprised it even come up in your mind if you're going to talk about bad SUVs. And yeah, the gearbox is fantastic. And what else did he say? The leaking, yeah, if you get the moon roof, I guess it would be technically, yeah, okay. So, leaking, he said bad transmission. The oil leaking, I don't think it's common enough to even mention.
With their stability control.
But it has stability control. You compare that to a lot of the other vehicles and they don't have it. So at least that's there. And as far as the transmission goes, like it's so good that they even released a software update to make it even better. It's highly tuned. I don't get it.
There's so much plastic used in those things. They're always getting leaks.
What? He's always talking about plastic. Oh, there's plastic in it. There's plastic everywhere. Everything's plastic, Scotty. What do you want? Do you want him to carve it out of stone? Is that what you want, Scotty? Like, I don't understand what you expect. Of course they're plastic. I don't know what else you want.
Well, after a year of driving the thing...
Every time he tells one of these stories,
I put on
he
my
never gives
BMW
any more
computer
details.
for the latest
He never tells you...
it was the transmission was going...
I think the volume's a little too high for you guys. But he never tells what kind of mileage it
research and
has
found out
on
that
it,
it was
like
gonna
if it
cost
was
her 4 or
wrecked
5
before or
grand
anything
to
like
fix it.
that. He
So
just
she
oh,
finally
well,
got
I'd
rid
had a
of
customer that
She
had it,
traded it in
and it was garbage. It was shit. So you should never get one. Scotty's big problem is, I talked about this before, I think a long time ago in one of my regular videos. It's survivorship bias. That's what you call it. And actually, in this case, I think it's reverse survivorship bias. So what survivorship bias is, for you guys who don't know, is, say for example, you're successful. You started this business and you got successful, and you tell everybody, it's like, hey, just do what I did and you can be successful. Well, for every one of you, there's probably 1,000 or 10,000 people who fail. But you survive, so you think you're biased to think that you're right, which you could be wrong. And Scotty has the same issue with cars. So he's a mechanic. He sees all the broken ones, and he doesn't see the good ones. He thinks everything, he gets a Mercedes in, he's like, oh, this is a piece of shit. Okay. So, and he thinks old cars are the best. He thinks anything old is the best. Well, the thing is about old cars is you only see the good ones still around. Think about all the old cars you see on the road now. If the cars were made like they were, like people say, oh, they don't make them like they used to. Yeah, they used to make them like shit. And that's why none of them run anymore. That's why they only had 5 digits on the odometer, because they didn't expect them to last long. And most of them didn't last very long. They got crushed, destroyed, melted down, and now they're in your new good car. So, yeah, old cars, they're not that great. And now, it blows my mind that some car companies are offering a 100,000-mile drivetrain warranty. Cars 30, 40 years ago, they didn't even expect them to last that long. So cars are much better now. And so survivorship bias is, you see a car, an old car, and it looks nice and it's still running well, and you say, they made them really well back then. No, they made one really well and you're seeing it now, and there are thousands that are junked. Okay, Scotty, what else you got to say?
SUV, boy, she's happy with that Lexus. That was years ago.
Oh, God, he's going on about a Lexus. She bought a Lexus.
I have a Lexus, and I hardly ever see her because the things don't break. Just normal oil changes and brake jobs.
And see, so she traded it in. She probably paid more and got a newer Lexus. She probably traded in an old junked BMW that had very high mileage on it. It could have been a lemon. Who knows?
They called it a sports activity vehicle. Well, yeah, because you can spend a lot of activity going to the BMW dealer getting the thing fixed. It's a Cadillac
Scotty made a joke.
Escalade. Now, if you want to impress your friends and neighbors,
so he's talking about the Escalade now. Okay.
A Cadillac SUV, and you don't care that you get 11 miles per gallon and
of course, if you're buying. So there is a group of people who buys a vehicle and they really don't care that much about the gas mileage. They don't want to fill it up every day, but beyond that, they don't care how much they're spending on gas. And there are different cars for different people, and he doesn't get that. He thinks every car should be great gas mileage, super simple with crank windows so the motor doesn't break, and that's it. No computers, no diagnostics.
It's a showboat. A lot of that showboating stuff.
Yeah, some cars are for show. They're nice, they're fancy. You get them because they look nice. Just like a nice watch, nice clothes. You pay more for style and quality. That's what some car brands are after. Some brands are after just bare bones, point A to point B, get you there.
Stuff is made out of plastic.
Yeah, you're going on to get it. Plastic. Yes. There's plastic in cars. There's plastic everywhere.
Guess what? It cracks early, breaks down.
But you notice there's also, he doesn't mention the wood grain, and I'm not sure, correct me guys, Comment below. Tell me. I'm not sure now if Cadillac is, for the Escalades, if they're actually using real wood, but it is at least coated and varnished, so it's not going to crack as fast. Even if it's not wood, it's not going to crack like exposed plastic would.
It's all computerized.
It's all computerized. Oh no, there's a computer in it.
Poorly made. There's no.
You're showing a wrecked vehicle in a salvage yard, and you're saying they're poorly made. That car was hit. It looks like it got hit in the side. Maybe. Oh, God.
Cadillac top of the line imagery for decades. Well, it's been a long time since that was even close to the truth. Now, the next...
So it's still pretty top of the line in terms of mid upper level vehicles, especially for domestic made vehicles. What other domestic vehicle, American vehicle, is as nice as some of the Cadillacs? Tell me one. I mean, maybe no, that's not domestic. I was gonna say Audi. That's not domestic. Yeah, I can't think of any domestic vehicles that are luxury as nice as Cadillacs. That's it. That's top of the line here.
SUV not to buy is the Jeep Renegade. And if you attempted to take that Jeep Renegade off-road like one of those big Jeeps, good luck. These Jeep Renegades, they're made in
if you that's like apples and oranges. Like if you try to take your Celica on the quarter mile like you would a Ferrari, good luck. They're different vehicles. They're Jeeps. They're, you know, I don't get it.
The list goes on.
And I'm not saying that it is a good vehicle.
It's like
I'm not saying the Renegade is great and you should buy one, but
not surprisingly, the Renegades have a lot of electronic problems. Now the fourth SUV not to buy used is
I think he said more there.
This pipsqueak. Now
he cut himself off. He didn't like what he said. It's okay, I do it too.
Fourth SUV not to buy used is the Chevy Traverse. I've seen engines seized up on ones that had 40-something thousand miles on.
An engine that seizes up with less than 40,000 miles on it, or around 40,000 miles, that's what you call a picnic. It's picnic problem in chair, not in car. It's an IT term, picnic problem in chair, not computer, but is applicable to cars too. That's a user error. And if it happens to be, like, sometimes even high-end luxury vehicles, they roll off the line and they're just flawed. They're called lemons, and sometimes you get a bad one in any vehicle, any car ever made. Sometimes there is a bad one, so it's possible, but more than likely an engine seizing, that low mileage, that person probably, I would venture to guess, ran over a bump, punctured their oil pan, drained oil slowly, and they were very bad at maintenance and never changed their oil. That's my guess. And sorry if you hear, I'm in Vietnam and it's Tet right now, so everybody's out drinking and celebrating and banging drums. Boom. And if it was under 40,000 miles, I'm sure it was still under warranty.
It kept
so who cares?
Up, service all-wheel drive.
Why would he?
Then it said
if you have a car
system
that has that low mileage on it, why would you go to some shade tree mechanic like Scotty? You take it to the dealership. You let the warranty pay for it. So if they didn't do that, that tells me, I'm thinking, maybe it was a wrecked or salvage buy. Somebody bought it from like Coparts or something.
Last SUV never to buy used is the Pontiac Aztek. It was made. I had a customer that did a similar thing with an Aztek. Thing had like 55,000 miles on it, and the head gasket blew, and the engine seized up. So we had to put another engine in.
But, so another 50,000 mile car?
Similar thing with an Aztek. Thing had like 55,000 miles.
Yeah, it's 55,000 miles. I'm not sure what Pontiac's drivetrain warranty is, but under 60,000, they should cover it. I don't know. You have to double check on that for me, guys. Let me know. But yeah, I would guess kind of like the other car is probably a salvaged.
That's it for GM. I'm never buying another one of their products. Basically, the Azteks were GM's version of trying to copy a Toyota Matrix, and man, they failed.
No, it wasn't.
The Aztek.
That's nothing like a Toyota Matrix. A Toyota Matrix is a Corolla. Toyota Matrix, Pontiac Vibe, it's a Corolla. It's a Toyota Corolla, basically with a hatchback. Basically, I mean the whole. I mean, if you want to talk about the whole body, yeah. But it's the drivetrain, the chassis. It's a Toyota Corolla, and they have. I'm not sure if all of them are all-wheel drive, but they do have an all-wheel drive variant. At least I know. But it's completely different from an Aztek. An Aztek is a very high, big vehicle. The Matrix is pretty small. But you could prop your elbow up on it, and they're nothing alike.
And even if you caught it right in the beginning, you'd take the whole
what other cars had those engines in it? I can't think of off the top of my head.
Something that should have never happened in the first place. Because I'm not talking about cars that are 20 or 30 years old. But regardless, they were poorly made vehicles. They don't make them anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they don't make 94 Celicas anymore either. Go on Craigslist, eBay, YouTube, anywhere, and search Pontiac Azteks. Look for them. You're going to see some very high mileage Azteks on there. They're very interesting vehicles because they're so. You go check out Doug DeMuro. He talked about them, how quirky they are because they had a tent in the back. The back turned into a tent. So they're kind of weird, interesting vehicles, and they're highly sought after now because when they came out, people really didn't care about them. And they didn't sell that many because they looked weird, but now everybody wants them. And you will see some very high mileage Pontiac Azteks out there. So, whatever, Scotty.
Get a Pontiac Vibe.
It's not an SUV. So, if I were to pick some SUVs to stay away from, it's a tough question. Well, okay. My number one is I would stay away from it, but I would also buy it again in a heartbeat if I had the opportunity. I used to have a 2000 and what year was it? Maybe 7 or 8. I can't remember. 2007, 8-ish Isuzu Rodeo. It was the I can't remember the exact engine size. It was a V6, but it was the biggest engine they offered. It's 4-wheel drive. It was like their maroon color. It was a really, really nice vehicle. I loved it. I loved it. It wasn't the strongest engine in terms of SUVs. I mean, it wasn't the best for off-roading, but it could get me anywhere that I wanted. Within reason, it looked great. My particular vehicle was very clean, low mileage. It was great. I loved it, and I would buy it again in a heartbeat, even though, like, there's a... talk about a hypocrite. There's a computer failure in it, which normally wouldn't be a problem. Like, that would have been fine, normally. But what I didn't realize is Isuzu, which is also the same as the Honda Pilot, I think. One of the Honda vehicles, the same. So my particular model with my engine package and everything was apparently very rare. Like, I couldn't find another one anywhere. So Isuzu requires you to go to a dealership to get the computer flashed. okay, no problem, except Isuzu was pulling out all the car dealerships, and the nearest one was like 200 miles from me. And I was kind of SOL because it was dead in the water, and any local mechanic, they couldn't figure out what to do with it. So yeah, it kind of sucked what happened to it, and very sad. And I wish I could have just had the money just to fix it and keep driving it, but I couldn't. So sad. So that would be my number one. After that, I don't know. Yeah, just Land Rovers. Don't get a Land Rover, no matter how cool they look, unless you're gonna do like Vin Wiki's Rabbit or Doug DeMuro does, where you get like the bumper to bumper. Otherwise, completely stay away from them. Why didn't he say that? Why didn't he mention the Land Rovers? What the fuck, Scotty? That should have been number 1 through 5. Okay, well, I think I'm done here. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to be out of town, going to Bangkok this weekend. So there won't be a regular video next week. So otherwise, you can catch more content here on Patreon. If you join, you can get your fix through the Patreon exclusive videos, and I'll be releasing more throughout the week while I'm gone. So thanks a lot, guys. Bye bye.